Well, I think the central feature has become quite pivotal to the Festival of Speed. I was asked by Lord March to come to a meeting with Mazda to discuss the central display. I was very inspired by what their aspirations were.
Obviously it all started with Kodo. Kodo is the design philosophy which is the backbone of all our designs, whether it's cars or anything else we're designing. Kodo is really about breathing life and soul into an object. To do that, we decided to study animals in motion, the way they accelerate, the way they compress their limbs before they sprint off, and it was a very interesting way to try and interpret that and bring that across.
I then did some drawings, made some maquettes, models. I showed Japanese architecture, the way structure and beams stack on top of each other, the forms that they make.
We were amazed by his authentic interpretation of Kodo, but we were a little bit puzzled as to how you could physically achieve this.
I wanted to create a big twisting shape, but to do it just in steel would have been very difficult and quite hard engineering-wise.
I work with Jerry, and Jerry's the artist. He does sketches, but I'm the person who knows a bit more about construction, about steelwork, and actually make it into a sculpture that we can use. After a lot of toing and froing, Jerry came up with this idea. He said, look, if we stack all these tubes on top of each other, we can twist it as it goes up, using this very unique construction technique that, as far as I'm aware, has never been tried before.
This is a project you can't do on your own. You might have an idea, you might have a sketch, even the best models, and frankly the best engineers. But primarily the relationship with Littlehampton Welding for me is very, very important because they contribute a hell of a lot to the project. It's not just a case of here's some drawings, build it. There's a lot of collaboration, a lot of interaction, and those guys really understand steel. They understand all the nuances.
We have to do a lot of 3D modeling and then dynamic analysis. There is the 2-meter foundation on the ground. The whole concept is just to make it sitting on the ground.
You don't want this to look too propped. There's a very clever bit of engineering and things done on the computer to make sure that all the forces are distributed.
It's that illusion of imbalanced balance. It's just holding on, isn't it, somehow? It's holding itself up. But it's kind of scary. You're waiting for that moment of such a drama in that.
What it's made from is hollow, square steel sections. In order to stack them, we have 2 holes on the top of each tube and 2 holes on the bottom, and they're a fixed distance. As each piece is dropped in, they put a pin in the top on each of the 4 corners and drop the next pieces on top. It looks incredibly complicated, but it's not such a difficult job. As long as they assemble them in the right order and drop them in place, then they have to fit. And if they try to put the wrong piece in the wrong place, then it won't fit.
There's a lot of welding involved into this structure. The Littlehampton can't tell exactly, but there's a couple of kilometers welding into that involved.
40 metres long from the bottom to the tip of the car, and it's about 110 tonnes.
It weighs literally tons, but it looks so delicate. It doesn't look like it's made out of steel. And it's this combination of great speed and energy, and delicacy and fineness, which is really an authentic interpretation of Japanese aesthetics.
Mazda has a very rich heritage of motorsport. We started racing in the late 1960s to try and prove and build awareness for the rotary engine. Probably the most famous race that we won was the Le Mans 24-hour race in 1991. And we still remain to this day the only Japanese manufacturer to have won that race and the only manufacturer to have won the race with a rotary engine. And the car that sits behind me is the 787B that won that race. And this is a car that's going on the sculpture at Goodwood Festival of Speed. In the case behind me is the Mazda LM55 Vision Gran Turismo car. Up until now, this has only been a virtual car in the GT6 game, but now Mazda design team have actually built the car for the Goodwood sculpture. Now 55 is the number which was on the car which won Le Mans back in 1991. It is the first time that Goodwood has ever had a concept car on top of the sculpture. So a really significant moment for both us and for Goodwood.
At the outset, of course, you see the first sketches, you think, well, it looks nice, and you work and you develop it, and you get used to it. But it's not until you see it in front of Goodwood House where you really understand the scale of what's being created here, and it's absolutely quite staggering and a bit scary when you see it.
Primarily, even though I work with the aspirations of the car company, their DNA, their spirit and their history, my primary responsibility is to the people who visit the Festival of Speed, and to give them something that really inspires and gives them what it is they're looking for, which is something that makes them go, wow, and that's really what I try to do. The sculpture's here for the Festival of Speed. Gets taken down, cut up. That's life, that's show business. You do the same thing with a movie set. We all love to have sculptures and artworks that live on forever, but nothing is forever. I realise the transience of objects, but as long as they serve to tell a story and they serve to express what the spirit of the piece is all about, then that's enough, really.
Do that, put that sort of spirit into an inanimate object, to give it life, to give it a soul return. It's worked out brilliantly.